Now, how do you collect multiple passports? Now, if you see some people, they have a stack of passports, they carry four, five, six, and not always this is by coincidence or it's not always luck. There's also something called as hard work and planning and optimizing and strategizing, so that all those things play a big role in how many citizenships and passports you carry. A lot of people who are new to this don't even understand the importance of citizenships and passports. They feel that if they're getting a citizenship, they have to go and settle down there for the rest of their life. A lot of people have multiple passports and they pick and choose their jurisdictions. For some people, one single jurisdiction works best because that's how they like living their life. Few people like to bounce around, hop around, and based on your legal situation, your tax situation, how much money you want to spend or save, and all of those things, all these strategies are very fluid, right? So the central theme of this video is how do you get the maximum, how do you get the most number of passports. Now, I wanted to discuss a few different avenues. Now, when you're creating your strategy, these avenues are very important, and there are multiple different streams. Now, some people focus on all these streams. Few people will focus narrow down on one or two streams based on where you are in life. Maybe all are possible, maybe some are possible, and maybe none are possible, right? So I'm going to discuss all these scenarios. Now, the first way of really looking at this is through your family ties, right? If your grandmother, grandfather, your father, your mother comes from a certain country, you're talking about a citizenship right there, maybe a couple of citizenships in the best case scenario. So that's one option, through descent, right? So you got to explore your background, have a discussion, figure out which is the best possible chance that you have to get one through descent. That's the first one. The second one is through marriage. Let's say you have a spouse from a particular country. Let's say it's France or Italy or Portugal or Philippines. There's some unique advantages that you have. Let's say your spouse is from Philippines. She spends a couple of years in Spain and she naturalizes as a Spanish citizen. You have a couple of opportunities right there. Let's say she's from Italy or France or Portugal. Without even setting foot in the country, you have your eligibility in place right there. Obviously, you got to plan it properly, but you have your opportunities there. So marriage is one thing, and getting into a marriage for citizenship purposes is the worst thing that you can do. It doesn't work like that. If you're already in a good relationship, if it is a loving relationship first, and your spouse wants to obviously file for you, she wants to get you to that country, then it's a different story. So marriage is the second option. The third option is by childbirth. Now, there are a lot of countries, especially a couple of great ones are Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, where if you have a child in the country, it's not only citizenship for your child. A lot of people think that having a child gives the maximum benefit for the child. That's true, but in these cases, it also leads to citizenship for the entire family, even grandparents and siblings in certain cases. So that's a very unique opportunity. You start off with a permanent residency off the bat, and then by spending anywhere from 1 year to 2 years, in some cases slightly more, you can qualify for that all important citizenship by having your child in a particular country. Let's say you're planning 2 children, you're looking at a couple of citizenships right away. So that's the third way of obtaining a citizenship. The fourth and the most common way of obtaining a citizenship is by residency, and in a lot of cases there's flexible residency option. There are great options in, let's say, Mexico, Paraguay, Ecuador. The list really goes on. The point I'm making is you can easily pick up a flexible residency in this country. Even South Africa and Mauritius has the option. So based on the continent that you're more interested in, once you start this residency, once you use it, it's flexible, but you still need to have some connections. Maybe there's a language requirement. There's a little bit of hard work involved in this, but you can collect and plan a couple of things in parallel, so you can get maximum leverage from there. Now, when you're planning things in parallel, and especially if it is a permanent residency, things can get tricky. So you want to have the right discussion. You want to discuss this whole strategy. Make sure you run this through someone who knows about this, so you can be confident that what you're planning, what you're strategizing is on the right track. You're not going to create any problems for you later down the road. So that residency, citizenship by residency is a very common and a very strong way of obtaining, let's say, one or even two citizenships that way. And then finally, you have an easy way. The straightforward way is citizenship by investment. The 11 countries that sell their passports in 2023, and you can look at various options. Few are pure donations. The Caribbean citizenships, now US has a lot of regulations in place. They're monitoring those citizenships, and when I say US has regulations, it's not directly, but they met with the Caribbean PMs. The Caribbean countries, I should say, have these expectations in place. So there are those 5 options. They were a lot popular before. Now with this new requirement in place, a lot of people think otherwise. Again, needless to say, it's an option, right? For a lot of people, they like it. So Caribbean is an option. You have other countries. My personal favorites are the Turkish, Jordan, Egypt, Jordan being the best in my opinion. So you have these 11 options you can pick and choose. You have Cambodia, which is a very unstructured type of a citizenship by investment. There's citizenship by exception. Now those are the trickier ones. In that, you got to really have your plan and solid strategy in place. A lot of people have been able to strategize this correctly. You're looking at some investment, and it's more complicated than the other ones, but that's an option as well. Now if you want to get started, we have attorney coverages in most places that we talk about, that I discuss on my channel. So you can take a browse through the different options, and you can always click the link in the description, book a call with us. We can discuss your strategy, optimize your strategy, look at what as many options that you can possibly think of. And then, as I said, we have great attorney presence in the countries that we work in, so we can obviously get you started with the option of your choice. And before you go, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because that will help you keep up to date with all the latest breakthrough within the RCBI domain. I cover the latest news as fast as I can, so be the first one to get the breaking news. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, make sure you're subbed, and catch you in the next one.